What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Revival. My name is JJ. It's time to get nostalgic with some NES games. Okay, so I want to preface this by letting you know these are 5 NES games, yes, but they're not necessarily my favorite. A couple of them are, but it's not like a top 5 in any particular order or anything like that. Because there are some games that I like better than 1 or 2 of these, but these are like the games that I have major memories with, so don't think of this as any specific order or anything like that. Anyways, these are just games that I grew up with. Gosh, I've played so many times and just have been in love with since I was a little kid. So let's just get started, shall we? First up, game needs no introduction. Super Mario Bros. 3. I don't care if you're a young gamer, old gamer, new gamer, old school gamer, any kind of gamer at all, even if you just love cell phone games. This is a game you should play at some point in your life. Not only is it an amazing piece of gaming history, but it's also still really, really good, and it still holds up really well to this day. I have beaten this game, so many times. Mario 1 and 2, I absolutely had fun with them, and I have a lot of memories with them. But this game, I beat so many times just because it was so much more accessible to me, and I loved being able to choose, which levels you went to and the order and stuff like that, and if you wanted to skip entire worlds, and it was just so freaking cool to have a game like this. Not to mention, I am a sap, and I really like the movie The Wizard that this game was introduced in. So it's just such a wonderful, wonderful game. Highly recommended. And I just remember playing this through so many times as a kid. So yes, if you have not ever played it, I don't know what you're waiting for, but give it a shot. Seriously, even if it's not typically your thing, whether Mario's not typically your thing, side-scrollers aren't typically your thing, play Super Mario 3, because it is just that good, still, to this day. Next up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. I love the first one, I just wasn't very good at it. If anybody's played the original Ninja Turtles game on NES, you know how brutally hard that game is. And I just was terrible at it, but I liked it. This game, though, after playing in the arcade, when I found that it was coming, to consoles and stuff, this is another one. I have played this through so many times and just absolutely freaking adore it. It's again, still, there's some bugs and it's a little wonky with the controls sometimes, but it's still if you're a Ninja Turtles fan, and back in the day, who wasn't, this was the game to play when it came out. And I think if I remember correctly, the boxed copy came with a pizza coupon. It's just so freaking good still, and I still every now and then, I'd say at least once a year or so, if I'm feeling up to it, I will still pop this in and play it, because I have such a good time with it, and it's just such a fun game to play still to this day. And if you've got somebody to play it with, all the better, because it's a blast to play with 2 people. So definitely a spot on the list. I love Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. I like 3 too, and as far as the game goes, the game is better than that. But this one just holds so much more nostalgia for me, because I played it with my cousin so many times. Speaking of playing games with my cousin, the next one is Contra. I remember as a kid never being able to get very far in this unless we put in the Konami code, got the 30 lives. It's tradition. If I go to my grandparents' place back east, my cousin and I, if we're both there, we play through this game and we beat it. Because we did it so many times as a kid. The last time I was out there, I played through it again because I was there. They have it, and my step grandmother loves like Tetris and Dr. Mario and stuff like that, but she still got a lot of the old classics, which is where I grew up playing them. Was at my grandparents' place or my aunt's, because they had most of the games. I kind of was just like, I played this one over here and it was really fun, and like maybe 1 out of every 6 I was able to get at some point. But most of the games that I played at that time were at my aunt's house or my grandparents' house. And Contra was one that, because it's so quick, like I can probably beat this now in, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. It's a really short game, but it's still like, there's still so much packed into that short amount of time, and it's just so fun still, that it's just a blast. My cousin Mike and I played this so many times. We would die, or not die, we would finish the game, and then we would just start it up again and start playing again, because it was just that fun, and it was that short. But back in the day, I couldn't do it without the 30 lives. Now, I actually can, so it's pretty cool too. And that's another one, like I said, if I'm around my cousin and we have the ability to play that, we do, because it's just a tradition. Next is a game that I did a review on my channel for, and that's Lolo, or The Adventures of Lolo. I'm not going to go too much into detail on this, other than it's just majorly nostalgic for me, because it was like one of the first puzzle games that I played. And I remember just, as a family, all of us sitting around and trying to solve these puzzles. Well, you know, it didn't matter who was playing, because we were all kind of working together saying, all right, now push this. Okay, now try that. Oh, no, that didn't work. Okay, and somebody else come up with a different idea. And it was really cool to just be able to share that with, you know, a whole group of people playing this goofy little fun game, where you're just this little puffball trying to push blocks around and avoid enemies. And it's just super fun. And yeah, like I said, I have a review up on the channel, so go check that out. And I highly recommend this one as well. This one is on the Switch online subscription thingy. So again, not a super long game. Even if you don't finish it though, just getting through as much as you can is still so fun. I absolutely adore this game, and this is another one that I still go back to every so often, because it's just that much fun. And it's amazing how like quickly I forget how to do some of the puzzles too. Like, you would think as many times as I played it, I still have to sit there and think on a lot of the puzzles in there. The next one is a game that I don't really hear too many people mention or talk about at all. I think I may have seen like a couple of reviews that like kind of, you know, off on the wayside on YouTube, just because I went out looking for them. But that is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I loved this movie growing up, and my godmother got me this game. Gosh, well, right, probably when it came out. And I specifically remember, and I kick myself to this day, but I specifically remember ripping the cardboard box open with it in there, as I used to do with all my NES games when I was a kid. And I hate that so much, because as a collector now, it pains me to know how many boxes I could have still had. But this game is, and this is still my original copy, it's not for everybody. But it's like, there's so many different ways to play it. Like, you go through, the main plot is the movie with Kevin Costner. If you've seen that, it's freaking Robin Hood. But they added a whole bunch of stuff to, you know, pad the game and everything like that. And there's little army battles that you go in with, where your characters are super tiny and you're taking out a whole bunch of guys. There's like duels where you're going one-on-one. And then there's also like just like Zelda style walking around a top-down map. And I just love it. This is my favorite NES game. If I ever do a top 5 NES game, spoiler, this is going to be number 1. I don't know that a lot of people love it, but this game just holds so much nostalgia for me, because I played it so many times, and I've only actually beaten it, I think, once. At least once. Because I remember it wasn't until years later, because it's tough. And there's you know, it's not impossible, but it's very tough, as Nintendo games were back then. But I adore this game, and honestly, if you ever get the chance, especially if you like the movie at all, it's a fun game to try out. But it's like an older RPG. Like you have your equipment screen, I remember vividly, which was always really awkward for me as a kid because I didn't really understand it. This was the RPG that I played before I knew what an RPG was. And so like you would probably classify this as the first RPG I ever played, whereas Final Fantasy IV is the one that actually got me into the genre. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are these? And then it wasn't until years later I was like, I think Robin Hood was actually an RPG. It had experience points and leveling up and equipment and oh wow, yeah. Okay, yeah, like I just love the game that much, but I didn't even know what it was. So if you ever do get the chance, I personally really, really enjoy this game, but I'm fully aware that it's not going to be for everybody. So, yeah, let me know what kind of games are nostalgic for you when it comes to the NES. I know, like, obviously there's some big ones in there. Most of them are. And that's why, like, I think it's cool that Robin Hood's in there too, because I know, like, when it comes to the big NES games that everybody always talks about, Robin Hood's not really going to pop up on most people's lists, but it holds such a high place in my heart that I have to mention it. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you disagree with any of my, well, I guess you can't disagree because it's a nostalgic list. But if you think like you actually like that game, what the hell? Let me know because I'm curious. And if anybody else has played Robin Hood, I'd be curious to hear that because I don't know a lot of people that have. And this was one that I got. I never played it at anybody else's houses. This is just because my godmother knew that I liked the movie. I got this, so it was cool, and I'm really happy that I still have it. So that's a boxed copy that I would like to get at some point. At least get the box and instructions and stuff like that, and just put this copy in there. But we'll see at some point. Maybe I'll just keep my eyes open at conventions and stuff. So yeah, let me know what you think. Tell me some of your nostalgic games. I love the NES, still do to this day. It's a blast. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, keep on gaming.